Sarah's on her way back.
Okay.
So maybe we'll just wait.
Yeah.
And then
we can, if you want to redo
and
that.
then we just restart. Maybe.
Yeah.
You can take enough of the
maybe this
of the Kingdom Builder one, but we'll just start.
Yeah. There's houses. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like I just see like I looked at like a picture of it and I just saw like a ton of
the houses that you put on.
Just like.
What's happening, party people? Welcome to Punchboard Party. My name is Daniel, this is Father Greg, and this is Tim. And he's here to share with us his top 10 favorite board games of all time, ever. And so party people, let us know down in the comments below what you think of Tim's picks. Welcome, Tim.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for being here. This is fun.
Yeah.
Tim moved to Saskatoon about a year and a half ago, and so we play games quite a bit in the last year and a half. And so it's exciting to hear your list here. So tell us and the party people how you kind of came up with your list.
Okay, so my list are all games that I've played a lot of. There's a lot of games that we've played together that were fantastic, that I really enjoyed. And so some of those games I would probably say are better games than the games on my list. But I want to give you guys a list that are like, these are the games that have kind of passed the test of time that I always enjoy playing.
Very contrary to the Punchboard Party feel, where if I play a game once... that could be my number one. You can't ask me any questions about it.
No, I like that.
So this is a good, nice,
stood the test of
time.
time. Yes.
People are going to appreciate that. It's going to be a breath of fresh air for people.
I mean, wait till you see the games on the list. You might be like, you've played that game 10 times? How could you?
Yeah, why did you waste your time doing that? Yeah. All right, well, get into it.
All right, so my number 10 game on the list is Kingdom Builder.
Okay, Kingdom Builder. I like me some Kingdom Builder.
Yeah. So Kingdom Builder is, you have 4 different quadrants and that make up your map, that every single game you play is going to look a little bit different, and you're going to have different cards that tell you how to score every game, and you're going to have different buildings that give you different abilities. So every time you play the game, it's going to be a little bit different.
Yeah. There's some major criticism out there against this game for being like quite random. And when you draw your cards, which determine the terrain type you can place a building on, you're just limited to what you're actually able to do. Do you have kind of kickback?
Yeah, like the first time that I played the game, that was my reaction. And I was like, oh, this game's not great. Like, I don't want to get stuck where I have no good moves or no moves at all.
Yeah.
And I have to just pass my turn. But the more I played, the more I realized you have control over kind of limiting the percent that you'll get stuck. And as soon as you get certain buildings, that's what makes the game really cool to me, is that the buildings make you do turns that like you think, oh, that's an impossible move. Like, how is he breaking the rules like that? So you can do really cool things with the buildings that kind of mitigate that factor of luck draw of the card that you're going to get.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I've really had my eye on Winter Kingdom, which is kind of the newest edition of Kingdom Builder, and it's in a winter setting, and they've refined some of the rule set. They've kind of added in similar things to what some of the other expansions did for Kingdom Builder. Why have you never played this game, Father Greg?
So yeah, I've never played this game. I have not played many Queen games. I stay kind of far away from the publisher Queen games after just 1 or 2 bad experiences, but it's fine. I looked at the back of this box. I've thought to myself, I should give that game a shot. And I don't know, maybe I will.
Yeah, there you go.
I'd be happy to play with you.
Sure.
You can bring it over.
Okay, number 9 on the list is completely different direction here. We've got Zombiecide Black Plague.
Whoa!
That's a turn.
Hard right.
Although we're still in the medieval kind of setting.
It's medieval.
That's right.
Throwing some zombies and no nice flower fields in this one.
Well, this was that's right. Well, this is something I was surprised at when I was looking at your board game collection at your house, where you have a lot of boxes dedicated to Zombiecide Black Plague.
This was the first game that I backed on Kickstarter.
Okay.
And so there are more parts to this game than I will ever be able to use, and I've played the game a lot, and there are so many different characters that I've not touched.
Okay.
I love cooperative games, and one of the reasons I like this game so much is that you really, in the cooperative game, you can do whatever you want. You can go any direction you want, and I find a lot of cooperative games, someone will go to make a move, and then someone else will be like, well, actually, that's not what's best for the group. And one person kind of just takes over and it's like figures out the puzzle, and everyone else is kind of like their minions. But this game, you really have full control of your own character, and if you want to go off into a group of zombies on your own, like, go for it. Yeah, and
it might be the best thing to do.
Yeah. it has that flexibility, and it just feels good to get stronger as you're playing and just to like take down a ton of zombies. I've played this game with so many people who haven't played many board games before, and they've loved it. And so like I might think like a game like Nemesis is a better board game than Zombiecide, but you're not going to introduce someone to Nemesis on like before they played many other board games.
Right.
Whereas Zombiecide, it's easy for anyone to play. The game is, I find usually you do well, like you become strong pretty quick, and it's like you're gonna probably win the game unless you're playing on a really hard difficulty. And so it's kind of a good feel for new board gamers.
Oh, that's fun for new people too, for sure.
Yeah,
that's cool. This is a game that I've never played. I've played a few dungeon crawlers. Father Dan had a kind of a penchant for dungeon crawlers at a time, and so I played like a few with him, Legend of Drist and a couple others. But Zombiecide always, I had this. I never played it, but I was like, if I was going to play another dungeon crawler, probably be this, right?
Well, the cool thing about introducing this to new people, I've never played it myself, but just like, but the fact that it's a co-op game, because it is, like, it has some complexity just in the genre, more so than in the rule set, I think. But you just can take care of all that.
Yeah.
And the other players can just kind of...
You can control
run around
making
and
sure
have
the
fun.
zombies go in the right direction, and then they can just choose if they want to go into a room and find some items, or if they want to go take on the zombies right away.
That's right.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
My number 8 is Lords of Waterdeep.
Nice.
Now, it's only Lords of Waterdeep if it includes Scoundrels of Skullport.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, I think Lords of Waterdeep is still a great game on its own, but with Scoundrels of Skullport, I think it takes it to the next level. What do you guys
think?
think?
It's been a long time since I played
We've
this
only
game.
ever played Lords of Waterdeep with a scoundrel.
Okay. I mean, you played the best Lords of Waterdeep then.
Is that what that was?
No. This is the worst. This is the worst way to play. No. So what I love about Lords of Waterdeep is people often they poo-poo Lords of Waterdeep for being like simple or something like that. But I mean, I think that's what works in its favor. Is that if you want a worker placement game that's fun and still has good tension and good thrills, like Lords of Waterdeep is great. Like just basic worker placement, basic contract fulfillment. You got a great game.
Yeah.
And yes, the Scoundrels of Skullport, I have played with that as well.
Yeah.
And that adds some cool dimensions and things like this. You get to play with corruption, and you get to do more beneficial things, but then you got to make sure you can get rid of your corruption.
Yeah.
So that you don't lose victory points or whatever else. But I don't know why people want a more complex game sometimes. Sometimes this is enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, good choice.
Nope. Okay. Number 7 is Seven Wonders Duel.
Duel.
Yeah. This is the game that probably my wife and I probably play the most together, and I think that they did such a fantastic job at keeping Seven Wonders the theme, but making it for two people. Like the game is very different than Seven Wonders, plays very differently, and I just love the aspect of the 3 different ways to win the game, whether it's a science, military, or victory points. And always that kind of tension of, do I go for the best card for myself, allowing the other person to get a good card for them, or do I try to block them? And so you always kind of have that thinking going on throughout the game.
Yeah, this is incredible head-to-head. And Bruno Catala is just like feather in his cap after feather in his cap of making great two-player iterations. We've talked recently about Splendor Duel. But Seven Wonders Duel, I played it once and then was like, okay, that was fine. And then Sarah got it for me for a birthday or something, and then we played it a couple times, did a review on the channel a long time ago now, but then it really opened up. Playing multiple times in a row against the same person, like you really start to see the ways and the directions that you can go and what you need to kind of do to stand on guard, not let them use the same strategy the second time around, or whatever else.
No, yeah, I love Seven Wonders Duel. I do like it. Yes, I don't know if Seven Wonders Duel introduced me to that mechanic, but that kind of like tug of war 2-player game where it's like you're going heavy on military, I'm going heavy on science. Like there's a science card, there's a military card. Like, yes, do I take the military card just because I can't let you have it, but then, you're going to take the science card from me, or like, just that kind of, that sort of, I don't know, not tug of war maybe, but that sense of like the game could end at any point if any one of these conditions are met. Or we both delay, and then it's a question of who has the most victory points, and who knows.
Yeah.
Yes.
My number 6 is Dominion.
Whoa! I don't know about this. Dominion's fine.
Did Donald Vaccarino design Kingdom Builder?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, so same designer. So
Yeah.
this is your favorite designer of all time.
I guess so. But I had a hard time not putting Dominion on this list. I don't play as much now that I've explored new games, but it just has such an impact, especially when I was first getting into board games and deck builders in particular. And I've just played so many games of Dominion, and even when I still play today, like I enjoy it every single time. And it's not the most complex or like the best deck builder that's being created, but just because it's had like such an impact with me, and I think it's always a great game.
Again, sometimes there's nothing wrong with just the simplest version of something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like I think people give Dominion a lot of flack because now there's Clank, or now there's Dune Imperium, or now there's things you can do with deck building that you're not just collecting gold and then getting the estates and away you go. But Dominion's great.
Yeah,
great fun.
It
Fun to
is.
play.
I think there's a lot of things to like about Dominion. Like even I've got Dominion. I've not played it in a long time, but every once in a while, I sit and I look at my board game collection. And I go, I should just play Dominion. Like there still is something.
Yeah.
Even something. This is gonna sound silly, but something as simple as when you're explaining Dominion, the action phase comes first, then the buy, then the cleanup. ABC. It's just nice.
Easy as one, two,
that's great. Like it's like there's something like even like that's okay. That's really stupid, but like it's really really easy to explain this game. You're like ABC, action, buy, cleanup.
Yeah.
Done. Just go. Like, and it's just like, and once people realize, like, especially if you've never taught them a deck builder, and that first notion of like, whoa, oh, I see. Like at first they're a little bit confused, but then like all of a sudden gold and silver start showing up in their hand, and they're like, okay, I see where this is going. Yeah. Just the fact that every game is different because there's so many possibilities of cards to lay out. Yeah.
My number 5 is Radlands.
Whoa, Radlands.
I was looking at this.
You're just smooching up to Father Greg.
Better than John Kershane just hashing up dance list, throwing it back at us. I was just looking at this game in my collection. I was like, I need to play Radlands again.
Yeah,
right.
That's how I always feel looking at
so
this
good.
game, especially the deluxe version. It just feels so great to play. The gameplay and the components I just love everything about this game.
Flipping those water tokens.
Yeah,
man.
it's so satisfying.
Yeah, so I'm not really high on that kind of 2-player skirmish style tactical whatever you use battle games. But like again, this would be my pick. Like if someone was like, you have to play one, I'd be like, oh well, why don't we do that Radlands one?
That's right.
Yeah.
No, great choice. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I've had so many games in Radlands where it's like one person, it looks like they're in control, and then all of a sudden the other person has just the perfect card to counter that and like flip the board completely. It's always exciting. Okay, my number 4 is Orléans.
Hey, there it is.
Yeah.
Figured as much. I didn't know you liked Orléans, except when John mentioned Orléans, Dan was like,
Started pointing at me.
You back there, behind the camera. Yeah, this is going to be on your list.
You knew it.
I did know it.
Yeah, so Orléans, a big builder, and a lot of people might play it at first and not like the randomness of drawing from a bag, and that is what you have to work with, and then you realize none of the actions that I want to do, I'm able to do. But it's kind of one of those games that the more you play it, the more you realize there's actually a lot of control over the way you build your bag, which citizens you're kind of getting rid of, so that you don't have them in your bag anymore. What I like about the game is like there's so many different tracks to choose from, and it's a race on each track, and you need to decide like, do I want to go on a track that's going to kind of help me build my bag and like allow me to play more workers down, or try to win this race quickly, even though it might hurt me in the long run.
Yeah. Lots of great choices in this game. The thing that threw me off about this game when I first played it was that there was no kind of secondary market. Usually in Euro games like this, you collect things so that you can then spend those things on other things. Yeah. This is you just collect resources, and they're just going to score you points at the end of the game.
Yeah.
You're just collecting money, and they're just going to score you points at the end of the game. There's a few things that you need to pay for, like taxes or something. But like when I was getting money, and then I was like, so what do I do with them? I was looking through the rule book.
Those are your points.
Being like, it was like, those are your points. So that threw me off right out of the get-go. It's like, this is a very straightforward game in that respect.
Yeah.
But then there's a lot that you're doing in terms of the choices of what tracks do I capitalize on, what tracks do I kind of stay back on, what tokens do I get, how do I try and manage that. One thing I didn't leverage my first play that I took more advantage of second play was the additional tiles that you can kind of get personal actions that you can do that you can only play on yourself. And they usually come at like a benefit. So usually you can do a certain action by putting 3 tokens up on that thing. Now you can do it by only putting 2 or whatever.
Yeah, and those are really important.
Yes.
And also in terms of like making your workers able to do more actions and not limiting your bag by getting some of those buildings.
And I like the cogs. I like being able to kind of limit, putting sort of a wild on actions permanently so that you don't have to worry about things.
Yeah.
Lots of fun things.
My number 3 game is Caverna.
Whoa, heavy hitter. Batter up.
Right?
Yeah, no, I love Caverna. You are dwarves that are farming and digging into a cave, making a cavern, and you're also going out on adventures. It's a worker placement with so many options. It's so satisfying to see your farm being built, see your cave, have some mining and some different buildings and rooms in it. And I find every time I play, like I want to explore a different way to try to win the game. And I never feel stuck like, oh, I have to go this route in order to win the game. And yeah, it's a fun game.
Yeah, Caverna was the game that convinced me for years that I would never be able to play a heavy Euro game successfully. It just crushed me. I got in, and I was just... And it's supposed to be like, people are like, it's easier than Agricola. It's more flexible, I guess. But, man, it just, like... hosed me. People I was playing with, they were just like, vegetables, like just doing their thing and just like rocking and rolling. And I was just like,
trying to feed your dwarf.
Yeah, just couldn't do anything. It was embarrassing and shameful. Have you played Caverna?
So I've never played Caverna. I stayed away from Agricola for a long time in the hobby.
Yes.
Everyone was like, yeah, Agricola, it's an old game, but it's really, really good. And I was just like, it just sounded horrible. They kept talking about needing to feed people, and I was like, this sounds awful. And and then we played it one time, and I was like, dude, this is good. Yeah, and I didn't have that much problem. Like, feeding people was not nearly as big of a problem as like I'd heard it was, but it's like purely because of what I heard about Agricola, Caverna was never on my radar.
Yeah,
right.
It sounded cool. It's like, okay, your regular farmers or your dwarves, all right, sure. The idea of designing my little cave, I thought that sounded cool. This game was just never on my radar, but I would happily play it.
I mean, right now I say Agricola is better because based on my memory. But
we'll have to play a game.
We'll have to play a game.
Yeah.
So then I can make a proper assessment.
Yeah. My number 2 is Dice Throne.
Whoa! Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan necessarily. This guy is. Once with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're a fan of Dice Throne?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Season 1 and Season 2 as well as Dice Throne Adventures. I have never dabbled into the Marvel thing yet. But yes.
Yeah, I have those, and I also have the Marvel.
Okay.
And I also have the Santa versus
Ooh,
Krampus.
yes. Okay. Yeah.
which are fun.
Nice.
But I love this game. I will never say no to playing Dice Throne. It's so easy to set up and quick to play, and each character does feel very different.
Right.
And people might think it's like just Yahtzee at first, like pretty simple. But when you add the cards into it and kind of like the deciding, am I going to use this card to better my attack right away, or am I going to use it defensively? And kind of just like, knowing when to go for different abilities. Like it's just a lot of fun. And then like the fact that you can play 1v1, like it's primarily designed for 1v1, but then like go into adventures and like kind of do a dungeon crawl, and it works so well. Probably it's my most played game, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
This is the game where I feel like I'm missing the most out on. Like my experience of it was very, like, as soon as you got the first edition on Kickstarter, you brought it over. My first impression was very similar to just like, oh, King of Tokyo again.
Right.
Yeah.
But now, like, after all the different iterations, all the characters, when I go into game stores, there's like a shelf dedicated to Dice Throne. People talk about it all the time. That's fun. Yeah, I think people like that pick for sure.
Yeah. And my number 1 pick on my top 10 list is Gloom Haven.
Oh my gosh. Gloom Haven?
And that's why I was like, I wasn't sure how into dueling games you were, and then I knew that Gloom Haven's not your favorite.
Yeah, that's right.
But
it's good.
Yeah,
Go for it.
Like, the amount of enjoyment that I've gotten out of Gloom Haven, like I had to put it at my number one spot.
100%.
Yeah, and it's just such an exciting game. I don't know why. What are your thoughts about?
I'm the worst human. That's all. That's all you need to know. I'm just the worst human, and so I don't like good things. So a couple of things. What bothers me about Gloomhaven is a couple of things. So again, people know I just like to play different things. I would much prefer to play each time we gather. I'd love to play 2 hour-and-a-half games over a 3-hour game most of the time. Lately, that's starting to change. I'm starting to like to just sit down, let's play a big, heavy Euro. But at the very least, when we get together again, I'd like to try something else, typically. So Gloomhaven just breaks that, because if you're playing Gloomhaven, you're playing Gloomhaven every time you gather for the next 6 months. So I just can't get behind that, because I just get bored. Like, we played 4 scenarios of Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, and that was too much for me.
Yeah.
You know, like...
Every time he comes over, I still say, hey, you know, we could finish up Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. We got that top 10 games on Board Game Geek series that we started back when this channel began. You know, we could finish it. Like, we could at least do a video on Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. We've already played 4 games. We could just play a 5th one that would bring us to kind of like... At least, like, we finished the training that would bring us to, like, a first full game of, like, Jaws of the Lion.
With all the rules.
With all the rules. We can, like, fully experience it. We just go and do it.
Yeah.
And then Dan just tells me I'm an idiot and pulls out Orichalcum or something like that. And, you know, like, whatever. Like, just pulls out some, you know.
Again, I am getting better at choosing the games that, you know, I'm not wasting our time as much on the games I pull out. But Imaginarium will beg to differ. But the second thing that bothers me about Gloomhaven is I just don't feel the sense of agency that I want to feel. It doesn't hit my bar of feeling like I'm as in control as I feel like I want to be when I play the game. I think there is a certain amount. The card play is interesting in, you know, choosing the top or the bottom of the card or whatever. That's cool. It gives me a certain sense of I'm doing. But at the end of the day, it just feels like the scenario we played was just too hard or just too easy. Like, it doesn't feel like I did anything to really...
Yeah. When I've played probably about 40 scenarios or so, and it feels like the vast majority of scenarios, going through the scenario, you think, am I going to win this scenario? Or like, I'm probably going to lose. And then you find a way to just barely win. And so I've always had that kind of feeling of like excitement and like right on the edge. And like every decision is really important and impactful. And then I love just like between scenarios, planning your character and like how you want to build your character, what cards you want to bring in with you. And then, making those choices of like when to use which card. Do you use your burn abilities right away to like kind of get a good advantage from the start, get rid of a lot of enemies quickly, or do you save that for the end type thing? And like, I understand the wanting to try different games, except that Gloomhaven is so good that like you don't need to like that does it for me. Gloomhaven, like I always want to play Gloomhaven.
And it does it for a lot of people.
So
I get it. Like I'm not trying to gather a group of people around me to get on my side with this. I'm happy to be by myself. Playing Orichalcum when everyone else is playing Gloomhaven.
No, you're right. There's some things about Gloomhaven that are really cool. Yes, the characters, I like the characters. They're really different. The top and the bottom of cards, the like initiative thing of like each card has like a speed on it and so on. All of that is really, really interesting. I could see this getting repetitive. Like there's only so many kind of like, you know, there's different types of missions. Sometimes you're trying to defeat the boss. Sometimes you're trying to pick up something and get it. You got to get the key and bring it to the door or whatever. So I could see that getting like, oh, I see. It's another pick up and deliver mission. It's another...
Which I've heard Frosthaven kind of has more variety. I haven't played Frosthaven yet, but I have heard that it has more variety in terms of like the missions look more different.
The absurd amount of stuff in this game is like ridiculous. Like, the amount of games that a campaign of Gloomhaven takes. Like you said you played 40 games?
Yeah.
And you're what, maybe a third of the way through?
No, I'd say 2/3. There's wrong with
2/3. I mean, we
Okay.
have done a lot of side missions, so like we could have finished the campaign, but we decided to do the side missions
Okay.
because we enjoy it. We want to get
So
30 more.
who's playing this? You and Kayla?
No,
Oh,
this. So actually, this I've been playing the physical game I was playing when I was in Ottawa.
Yeah.
And so that campaign has ended because I moved to Saskatoon. But I still do play a little bit, like on the digital version
Okay.
with some friends in Ottawa. Yeah.
That's sweet. Yeah, well, there you have it, party people. That's Tim's top 10 board games of all time ever. Great list. Let us know down in the comments below what you thought of his list. If you like Gloom Haven or not, let us know. We won't banish you. It's fine. One thing that we think is so important on the Punch Before YouTube channel is that people just love to play games. We love the hotness. We also don't care if we're just playing the hotness. We just play whatever we want to play at whatever time we want to play it, and we share it and talk about it with you. And so that's why we love to bring our friends onto the channel to share what they're loving to play. And we don't have any criteria for what they can put on this list. They can put Wizard on the list. We just want people to be loving the games they play. And so whatever gets onto these lists, we just love that they're out there. So let us know what you're thinking down below. So party people, if you like this video, please press the like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video, let people know that we're fun to hang out with for a little while. And until next time, party people.
Have the best day.
Yes.